Welcome Amakhosi Network, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to get into the player ratings for our first win. Remember, we are top of the log. First win of our 2-1 win against Marumo Gallants. But before we get into that, please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. But let's get to it. Kaizer Chiefs, as you know, beat Marumo Gallants 2-1. We got our first win. Nabi's cooking, but as in front of it, like as well as doing Nabi's cooking. But anyway, let's get into it. Player ratings. Goalkeeper Ntwari didn't have a lot of saves to do, but when he was called on, he did do it. But he had Ufambulanyana. He was not holding the ball. Every time the ball would go out of his hands. But yeah, and the first goal he couldn't do much about. I think he had covered it, but because of Miguel touching the ball, it ended up going. So in a way, it could have been an offside, but technically it was still on target. So it will still go to the other player. So with that, Ntwari, we're going to give a 6. It wasn't bad, but yeah, he's going to be tested in other games properly. So yeah, there's that. Left back Cross, I'm going to give a 7. He had a solid performance. Debut, the amount of defending he did, the amount of support he did. Our second goal actually was produced by Cross. Because when he got the ball, he didn't just do this thing of kicking in there. He found Serino. So it was basically cross. It started cross, passed the ball to Serino. Serino passed the ball to Duba. Duba passed the ball into the box. Matt skip, Dush, Mfundo Vilagazi score. So that's why I say Cross played a vital role in our second goal. So Cross, I mentioned in the other video, the one thing I like about him is that he doesn't just kick in J&J for the sake of kicking. He finds the players. So that's the good thing about Cross that I'm enjoying. So that's why I'm giving him a 7. Dudley, quiet game. He didn't have too much to do. I'm going to give him a 6.5 just because there wasn't threat from Marumo Gallants. There wasn't a lot of threat. So it's hard for us to say there's much he did in the game because there wasn't much threat in that game. Miguel, I'm also going to give. I'm going to give a 7 for Miguel. Like Dudley, didn't have much to do, but the one thing I did see about Miguel is his leadership skills. That's why I'm giving him just a few half a point more than Dudley. How he led the team, how he was motivating the team. That is something I think Chiefs has been missing for a long time. So for that, I give him a 7. Frosler, I'm going to give a 6. He had a decent game, but the only problem I had with Frosler is that the way he passed the ball sometimes, it doesn't make it easy for the person to trap the ball. Because like I mentioned yesterday, Cross tends to pass the ball on the ground or pass the ball very low. So it's easy for the other player who's going to do a first touch and all of those things. Frosler tends to hit it high in the air, and then that player has to either take time getting the first touch or he just gets interrupted by other players because also Frosler has a thing of not passing directly to the player but passing the ball into a space, and when he does that sometimes it becomes a 50-50 ball with the opponent. So that's why I'm going to give him a 6. But defensively, like I mentioned, there wasn't too much hassle from Marumo Gallants. Marumo didn't really threaten us defensively. Let's go into our midfield. Samkelo Zwane I'm going to give a 5.5. He didn't stamp his authority enough in that midfield, especially because how stable we were at the back gave him a lot of freedom to do what he needs to do, but he didn't. There was only one good move he had where he ran, he touched that ball this side, he rounded the player, and then he gave it to Saile. But other than that, he didn't really take hold of the game and dish out his passes the way he needs to do. So it was like he was a passenger. The game was passing him most of the time. The game was passing him. You couldn't see his influence in the game. Matt, we know what Matt is about. He marks. Matt is about marking. Matt is about running. We saw second goal. He was there in the box. We saw in a lot of moments he was breaking down play, marking players or adding numbers to break down play. That is the Matt we know. So for Matt, I'm just going to give a 6 to 6.5. I don't know where I sit there. 6 to 6.5 because in as good as what he was doing, there was still little elements of himself that he was getting wrong, like misplacing the ball, misplacing passes, but not as much as he did last season, which is a good thing. So that's why maybe 6.5 is a fair one. But no, 6. Then Serino, Serino is a very difficult one to rate. I don't want to give someone a rating Yomhlaba, but that is how good he was. Serino was an 8.5 to 9 in this game. I have never given an 8.5 to 9 to a Kaizer Chiefs player, I doubt. But Serino was like an 8 and a 9, I think. I think Serino played like with a rating of 9 out of 10. Like, maybe we'll just give him 8.5 out of 10 because he didn't score. But his influence in the game was really that good. But he also had his chances in the game. I think he could have scored 1 or 2 goals. So that's the only thing that it didn't go his way. But other than that, without Serino, I don't see how we would would have created so many of those chances. So 8.5 to 9, wherever you guys are happy to give him the rating. Mdu Shabalala as our number 10. Him, I'm gonna give him a let me say a 7.5. I'm gonna give him to Shabalala a 7.5. I know Cross got man of the match, but I still feel the person who should have got man of the match was actually meant to be Serino. That's my opinion. But anyway, do I'll give 7.5. Scored the goal, was influential. His work rate at the front, closing down players, was solid. But there are moments in the game where I just think Mdu needs to wake up and be strong. And when I say strong, I'm saying he just needs to either make the right pass, or he just needs to make the right decisions. For example, we could have scored a goal before Mfundo Vilakazi scored, but Mdu in that moment tried to take responsibility when it would have been better if Mfundo trapped the ball with his left and took a shot. But Mdu took the ball and then he went further away from the goal and tried to take the shot. But in that moment, the angle was closed. So in those moments, I wish he can see that someone is in a better position. But anyway, but 7.5, still a good game. Saile, I'm just going to give a 4.5, maybe even a 4. Saile was bad, our weakest link. Saile just didn't do anything in our game. He actually was the negative in our game. He was just not good. So 4 to 4.5, wherever you guys want to give him. He just didn't have a great game. Ranga, I'm going to give him a 5.5 to 6, wherever you want to give him. The 6, you would give him more because he did play well, did combine well with Serino. He gave Serino a through pass that almost resulted in a goal. He did a lot of good things. The only thing he didn't do is his job, which is to score goals. So maybe let me just leave it at 6. Mfundo Vilakazi, they came a bit late in the game. I am not going to give Mfundo Vilakazi a rating, because if I give him a rating, you guys are going to go crazy. Because if you look at the game, the one good thing Mfundo Vilakazi did in that game was score the goal. But other than that, he didn't have influence as the sub in whatever was happening. Same like Duba. Other than Duba's assist, he didn't have influence in the game. Like, apart from the goal, I can't pick up something that I can remember that they really did well. So that's why I say I'm choosing not to give them a rating, because if I do give them a rating, it will be unfair to them, and I know you guys will cry. So the substitutions, I am not going to give a rating. Maybe the only rating I'll give is Castillo. Castillo, pick up your socks. I'm going to give you a 5. You didn't change the game after coming in for Samkelo Zwane. Like, there was no impact. You just didn't impact the game. So Castillo 5. That's all I have for today. Amakhosi for life. Tell me what your ratings were. Amakhosi.